Hello students, welcome to the 8th lecture on the topic sequence and series. So in the previous class we were discussing about the definition of absolute and conditional convergence. So let us take some example that how we can say that any series, any alternating series is conditionally convergent or absolute convergent. So let's start with an example. Suppose that you have a series as this, and for notation purpose I am writing this as summation of an, and that is equal to, if I take out the sign, and this is equal to this. Now here we have un as 1 by 2n minus 1. And we have to check whether this series is absolutely convergent or divergent. I'll write it out, check whether series is absolutely convergent or conditionally convergent. So you have to check for this. So let us see. So now for checking the absolute convergence, you know that you have to take the mod of an. So if I take mod of an, that will be equal to this series. Now we want to see the nature of this series. So let us use a limit comparison test by considering let Bn is equal to, by looking at this series you considered a series which is equal to this, and you know that it is divergent T series. You already know its nature. Now let us see what will happen if we divide mod of an by bn. So limit n tending to infinity, an by bn will be equal to now it is easy to see that this is equal to half, which is greater than 0. So by a limit comparison test you already know that if the limit comes out to be some constant which is greater than 0, then whatever will be the nature of bn will be the nature of this an, that is mod of an. So since we know that since summation of bn is divergent, you already know that. So summation of mod an is also divergent. Now you know that if mod of this an is divergent, you cannot say anything about summation of an, that is your alternating series. So I'll write it down that as summation of mod an is divergent, therefore we cannot, or so we cannot say anything about summation of an. Now this question lies here that what is the nature of this series, because you know that mod of this is divergent. If it came out to be convergent, you have seen that this will also converge. But if mod of an diverge, you cannot say anything about the alternating series. So for this what we have to do, we have to apply the Leibniz test. You know that for alternating series, how can you check the convergence or divergence? There is only one test you studied, is the Leibniz test. So let us apply Leibniz test. Now check nature of summation of A and we apply alternating series test. I write it as shortcut as alternating. So first condition is un is equal to, now this is greater than 0 for every n greater than or equal to 1. It is easy to verify. Now the second one is that it is decreasing. So what can you do is that you can consider a function f of x which is equal to this. This is the easiest way, and then you can find out the derivative, and the derivative is simple to calculate. So you find that its value is less than 0 for every x greater than or equal to 1. And the third condition, like this, implies that un is decreasing sequence, and so we have got a tick mark in the second condition. And now let us check for the third condition. We see that limit n tending to infinity 1 by 2n minus 1 is equal to 0. So what will you conclude? That since all the three conditions of alternating series test are satisfied, summation of an is convergent. So now what can you conclude? That it is conditional or absolute? So this was your question, that check whether the series is absolute convergent or conditionally convergent. The answer will be conditionally convergent, because mod is not converging and this summation of an is convergent, and therefore the given series converges conditionally. Okay, so let us do another example. Check the convergence of the series you have this series and you want to check the whether this series is conditionally convergent or absolutely convergent. So let us see. Now again you can give a notation for this so that afterwards it is simpler to write. Okay, so now here you see that un is equal to under root n plus, this is your un, and then you know that you need to start with mod of an, so that you can, if it is mod is convergent, then obviously summation of an will be convergent, so we do not have to apply the lengthy Leibniz test. So first of all what we need to do is that first of all always check what is the nature of mod of an, because if it is convergent, we can, from that only we can say that it is absolutely convergent, and obviously the alternating series will also converge. So we do not have to follow all those three steps to show that it is convergent for the alternating series. So we will start with this. So mod of an is obviously equal to this. Now if I rationalize this, I can write this as this series becomes this after rationalizing. I get this series. Okay, so now I can check the convergence and divergence by number of tests. So let us see if I apply the limit comparison test. First, like if I consider, let Vn is equal to summation of under root n. Now let me see this. Okay, I'll take 1 by n. So if I find the limit n tending to infinity, what value will it give? You can see that this is giving infinite. Limit is infinite. And what can you say? Because you know that this is divergent. So by limit comparison test, you already know that if the limit is infinity and this is divergent, we can say that this is also divergent. So we will write, therefore by limit comparison test, summation of mod an is divergent. Okay, so now we can use other tests also, like if I applied the nth term test for divergence, my work would be much easier. Like if I applied directly limit, now applying nth term test. Now if I apply nth term test to this, let us see what will happen after rationalizing. What I get is this. So if you find the limit, you are seeing that you are getting limit as half. Now what does this imply? This implies that this is not going to 0. Now therefore what will it show? That so mod of an is divergent. Okay, so now we have seen from this also that this test is also saying, and similarly this test is also saying. But if you apply this test, you don't have to apply the Leibniz test in all total, because this gives you a clear picture that the third condition of the Leibniz test will not satisfy, and that means that the alternating series is also divergent. As I have already told you that if the third condition of the Leibniz test is not satisfied, then the alternating series diverges. So we always need to find this nth term test at the first stage only. Like before going to any other test, just do roughly find out the limit of the nth term, and if it is not equal to 0, then it is divergent. It is also divergent, like it is mod of an is also divergent, and the alternating series is also divergent. So it is totally divergent. So a lot of work is now reduced by this nth term test. So if you want to do like mechanically, you can always do it. Like if you want to, now this says that mod of an is divergent, and it doesn't say anything. Like if you feel like it doesn't say anything about the alternating series, then what you will do? You will apply the Leibniz test. Like if you write, like if you want to do it, you can do it. Just I am saying that it will save time. Like you can say that directly the third condition is not satisfied, so this will also diverge. So I'll write it down that from this I can write like from 1 we also find that third condition of alternating series test fails. Now if alternating series test fails, so what can we apply? We can apply nth term test also in the alternating series. So therefore I'll find out the nth term test for the alternating series also. So this will imply, with this we already got, like the series with the positive terms. Now this will be equal to this. Now this will be minus half and plus half when n is odd and when n is even. So limit n tending to infinity an does not exist, and this implies that summation of an is not convergent by nth term test for convergence. So what do you find the result? That mod of an is divergent and summation of an is also divergent. So it is neither absolute nor conditional. It is totally divergent. Therefore, the given series So I hope this is clear. So we will now move on to few more questions, and then we will move on to the error bound of the alternating series. So if I ask you that what is the nature, like I have an alternating series, this that is equal to okay. Now if you check this is n to the power p. Now if you check the convergence and divergence of this alternating series, you will find that this is convergent by Leibniz test. Like we will quickly check first. Un is positive. Obviously, what is your un? 1 by, which is greater than 0 for p greater than 0. So the first condition is satisfied. Secondly, you will easily see that this is greater than un plus 1. So this implies that un is decreasing sequence. You can easily check. And the third condition, limit of n tending to infinity, un will go to 0. So all the conditions are satisfied for this series, and therefore we will say that therefore by alternating series test, this series is convergent for p greater than 0. Now if we talk about the absolute convergence and conditionally convergence, you know how the mod p series, like how the p series behaves. Like if p is greater than 1, then it will converge, and if p is less than 1 and greater than 0, it will diverge, or it diverges for less than or equal to 1. So you can write that you already know the nature of the all the positive terms. Like if I say mod of np, you already know the nature. So if p is greater than 1, the series converges absolutely, and if p is less than or equal to 1, I'll write it from 0, the series converges conditionally. Okay, so now let us do the alternating series estimation theorem. Okay, so what is this theorem? This theorem says that suppose that you have an alternating series and it satisfies all the three conditions of the Leibniz test, then obviously it is convergent. So you can find, if it is convergent, you can find, like, know that it has some sum. So call it as L. And now if you want to approximate this sum by terminating some of the terms, so what is the error bound? You can see by this theorem. So I'll write it down. Let alternating series satisfies all three conditions of Leibniz theorem or alternating series test. Now this is obvious that if it satisfies all the three, this is convergent. This implies that this one will be convergent, and then you can say that let un is equal to L be the sum of the series. Say the sum of the series, because it is convergent. So then for n greater than or equal to n is any positive integer, this capital N, I can write Sn, nth partial sum, like up till I considered the sum up to certain numbers like n. So this Sn will be equal to this, which approximate, the work of this is to the work of this Sn is to approximate this sum L. So which approximates the sum L. Now what will be the error bound? Like if this is an approximation, obviously if you make an approximation, there will be some error. Like you have the infinite series, you cut the series and you say that now I want this particular, these finite numbers of terms to approximate my complete series. So there will be some error. So what is those errors? Then of the series, I'll write completed, of the series within an error whose absolute value is less than un plus 1, that is error like mod of error, like I am not considering the sign, then this will be this is your actual. I'll write the meaning of L. This is actual sum and Sn is approx sum. So this will be less than un plus 1, that is the first unused term. See, what does this mean? That suppose that you have an infinite series, you have this sum L for the infinite series. Now you approximate it with Sn. Now if you subtract, you will get the error. Now what is the error bound? Like the error will be always less than the first unused term. See here, if you have expanded it more, you must have got this some plus minus something, that you have left this unused term. So the error bound will be less than this first unused term. Like if you have considered only 3 terms, the first unused term will be this 4th term. So the magnitude of the error, that is the total sum minus the approximate sum, will be less than the 4th term. And similarly all, like till what terms, the next unused term will be the error bound. And also what is interesting point is that the sign will tell that whether we are making the approximation is underestimating the real value or it is overestimating the real value. So I'll write that further the error has same sign as that of first unused term un plus 1. Okay, so I'll make this clear by taking an example so that the theorem gets more clear. So consider the series this. Okay, so now what will be the series? It will look like this. Okay, so now suppose that I have cut this from this, and suppose that it has a sum as L, like the infinite series has a sum, we are saying it as L. Now I cut it, that I truncate it and considered only the 3 terms. Now what does this theorem says? That the magnitude of the error, that is obviously this is total, I cut it, so there will be some error. So error will be like this is actual, I am writing it again, that this means that actual sum minus approx sum of 3 terms, because the actual sum was infinite series and now you cut, so it becomes the finite with only 3 terms. So this is your error. Now this theorem says that this will be less than this first unused term. That means that this will be less than 1 by 27 if you consider only the magnitude, that whatever will be the error will be less than this first unused term. Now, why this result is remarkable? Because this, if you consider this sign, like this has a negative sign, then this means that like this is negative. That means if you see like this, what does this say? That your first left term is negative. That means, see, then this like the value is coming to be negative. This means that the Sn is greater than this value L. So this means that we have overestimated, like whatever is the actual sum we have overestimated. We are telling more, whatever is the sum of these is more than the actual value L. So the significance of the sign is this, that if it is negative, that means that Sn, that is our approximate sum, is greater than our actual sum. So this implies that we have overestimated the actual sum. So now let us verify this, because we know how to find out the sum of the geometric series. So let us use that formula to find the sum of the infinite series, and let us verify this theorem. So I'll write it down. So let us verify the theorem as we know the sum of the G series. So I can write this so here A is 1, R is minus 1 by 3. So mod of R is less than 1. This implies that convergent, and the sum will be equal to A 1 minus R. So this is equal to, this will be equal to 3 by 4, and this will be equal to R value L, which we are saying that this is the sum of the infinite series. Now we again we have considered only 3 terms. See, we have truncated here. So what will be the value of S3? S3 will be equal to, if you just find the 3 sum you have seen, you can easily see that this is 7, this is the approx sum, and this is the actual sum. Okay, so now what does this say? You know, so you can find it out error also. So the error will be equal to what? 3 by 4 minus 7 by 9, which is equal to minus 1 by 36. So you can easily check that L minus S3, that is your error, which is this, is less than first unused term, this. So it verifies that that what will be my actual like error will be less than the first unused term. So the first thing is verified. Now again what we said, that the sign gives you that whether we have underestimated or overestimated. So you can easily see that you have, like you are getting more, 7 by 9 is greater than this, so you are getting this negative sign. So you, from the minus sign, you will say that you are overestimating the sum from the actual sum. And if it comes out to be positive, like if the first unused term was positive, then you will say that you are underestimating the sum, that whatever is the actual sum, you are getting something lesser by the approximation. So this is the significance of the negative sign. So this means that if you don't take the mod, I can say that this is equal to minus 1 by 36, then clearly error is less than 0, and this implies that L is less than S3. So I hope this is clear, that this will say that you have overestimated the value. So let us do another example. Estimate that you need to estimate the magnitude of the error involved using the sum of first 4 terms to approximate sum of entire series, and your entire series is this. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to cut over here, that we have to use the first 4 terms to approximate the sum of the entire series. So now by using the theorem, I can write, using the theorem, alternating series estimation theorem, I'll write that the error will be less than 1 by 25. Why? Because this is my first unused term. So what does that theorem says? That the error of estimation will be less than the first unused term. Okay, now we can see the sign is positive. So what does this imply? Also we see error is greater than 0, and this implies that approx value underestimate the actual value. That means that whatever you have found is less than the actual value. So this is the importance of the alternating series estimation test, that without knowing the actual sum you can, and if you considered some finite portion of the series, you can say that what will be your error bound and whether you are overestimating or you are underestimating. So now I'll give you a simple flow chart with the help of which you can think that from where to start applying the test for the convergence and the divergence, because you have now plenty of tests for checking the convergence and divergence. So you need some flow chart to see that what to apply first so that your work gets easier. So I'll draw a flow chart so that it becomes a bit convenient, but still you have to think on your own. So first of all, I'll say that you need to apply the nth term test. I'll give the heading as strategies for series. Okay, so first you will start with the nth term test. So you will check that is limit and tending to infinity an is equal to 0 or not. So if you have answer no, then the series diverges. It is clear that both, if you have the only positive terms, then also it diverges, and if you have the alternating series, then also series diverges. So firstly, I think that you should take out the value of this limit, which will make your things more easier. That if it is no, then you can say you don't have to do anything else and just say that the series diverges. Now if it comes out to be 0, then it is problem, and then you cannot say anything about the convergence or divergence. Now you need to check that is the series a P series or a geometric series. Just you need to check. The second is the series is you need to see that the whether the series is a P series or the geometric series. Now you already know that how to check that. If your answer is yes, you know when to say the series converges and when the series diverges. Like a P series converges when P series converges when P is greater than 1 and diverges when P is less than or equal to 1. And similarly, you can say the geometric series converges when mod of R is less than 1 and diverges when mod of R is greater than, and it diverges when mod of R is greater than 1. And now if you see that no, it doesn't look like a P series or the geometric series, so what you need to find out is that does mod of an, like the series with all the positive term, converge. Now how will you check this? You can apply any one of them, like apply one of either comparison test, ratio test, integral test, nth root test, and whatever test you have, etc. You can check, like you can apply all those tests to check whether this converge or not. Now if it doesn't hold, then you have to see that obviously if it is yes, then the original series converges, and if it is no, then if it comes out to be no, then what is the series and alternating series. So if a series is alternating, then if you say yes, then you can see that whether it is decreasing or not. Like then you need to check whether it is decreasing, and if it comes out to be yes, then finally you need to check that whether un tends to 0, and if it is yes, if it goes, you will say this implies that the series converges, and if un does not tend to 0, this implies that the alternating series is divergent. And if it is not decreasing or it is not an alternating series, if both the cases you are getting no, then what will you see? That use or see what you can do with the nth partial sum. Like you can find the sequence of the partial sums and see that whether it is going to the finite limit or not, and then you can say that whether the series is converging or diverging. It is just a idea. It is not a mandatory to follow these steps. Like whatever you feel like you can do by taking, like by looking at the series, but I have written this that so that you can follow some systematic way to think that how we can start applying the test. But from the practice you will get to know that whenever you see the series, you will have some idea like, okay, we can apply this test, so we will get the result. So now we will start with the power series on the next class. Thank you.